Welcome back to Beelzebub the Jag. I've got a little bit more work done, probably about 3 hours actually tonight, on just working on trimming and making the repair section for the hinge. It really was a mess. Various bits have been trimmed out, but of course, you know, I just broke this bit off. I just flexed it until it broke, and it left quite a lot of rough around here, and I've just trimmed it back to good metal, and I've made the template, the repair section. You know, sort of, I made paper templates, made the repair section, and I've just spent a lot of time filing. I've drilled the holes, I've elongated them, filed them, and this needs to stay, and this is actually spot welded to the side here. I did say yesterday I was going to trim that out, but because it's spot welded on the side to that, I'm not going to, and it's actually in much better condition. I've really sort of filed it back, and it's actually quite good metal. It's pretty solid, and there's a spot weld there and a spot weld here, so I'm actually going to keep those in place. There was a spot weld there, but this was all completely rusty, so I've left those spot welds in place, which has meant I've had to cut a notch out here to allow this to fit. Let me just show you. I'm going to save any extra complications on this. I'm going to do this hole here, because that just sort of rotted. I could poke my thumb through that, but I filed it all back to good metal. I'm going to do that as a separate section, just a little tiny square. So let's just put this in for size. And it fits quite well. There we go. Actually, first of all, we have the metal plate goes in. I'm not going to do any welding tonight. This all needs rust treating, and you know, I'll rust treat the plate as well. So I'll literally rust treat everything. I filed it and used steel wool. I'll do a little bit more steel wool, and then I'll rust treat everything, leave it for 24 hours. Then I'll probably, if I've got the time and the weather isn't horrific, I'll weld this tomorrow. So you get the idea. It goes in beautifully. And once I've got a couple of tacks, you know, just get a tack on this corner and perhaps a tack there, then I'll be able to just put a couple of tiny little oxyacetylene tacks. Then I'll be able to sort of use the hammer just to tap all this into shape, you know, where it doesn't quite, like a millimetre or so. I'll be able to tap that over, make a really good fit, make an absolute flush fit, very, very flush. Once it's been completely seam welded all the way around, I'll be able to file the weld. You'll never know this has ever been welded. Now, instead of welding along this edge here, I could weld to that. What I'm going to do, I've made the repair piece longer. I'm probably going to trim it back by about 1 inch, leave about 10 or 12 millimeters, and I'll fold that over. So I'll literally fold it over and do a seam weld, a neat seam weld here. So it'll be, I don't know, 1 millimeter thicker here, but it's not going to present any problem. But I think that would be, see, a folded piece of metal is far, far stronger than a flat piece. So due to the weight, it does flex a lot, and it will continue. Now, if I put a fold on there and weld it along here, that fold will probably increase the strength by 300 or 400%. You know, in time it will just end up like this again. Well, actually, to be fair, you know, I'll look after the car a lot better than it's been looked after over the years. It won't happen again, but just to sort of prevent any more flexing, I'm definitely going to put a fold. I'll just fold that over 90 degrees, tap it down nice and tight, and just put a nice seam weld here. It'll be so much stronger with a fold. It's like, I don't know if you've ever taken a piece of steel, like a piece of steel bar. Even if it's 5mm thick, you can bend it quite easily. But you take a piece of angle iron and try and bend that, you really would struggle. And it'd be the same principle. If I put a 90-degree fold just here, it'll be massively, massively stronger than the original, and it'll be very, very discreet. You know, it'll just have a tiny little overlap here, which I'll file it, and obviously when it's been painted, nobody's going to know. We know it's there because obviously I'm sort of I'm mentioning it on camera, but nobody would ever see it. And even if they do, it'll be such a neat repair. So yeah, this is going to work out beautifully. I'll weld it tomorrow because I really want to get plenty of I think it's Genelite, whichever. I've got a good sort of gel anyway, so I'm going to put the gel on the plate, and yeah, I'll just rust treat it, and I'll come back to welding it tomorrow. It'll be at least 24 hours before I come back to this, but I'm sure you'll agree, you know, it's going to be a decent job. And I just want this car to be perfect. You know, by the time this is all welded in, filed, painted, you'll never know this was done. You know, it will be like a hidden repair.